Hello. It's raining outside. Just been for Anthony's birthday McDonald's. Shouldn't have, but anyway, thank you for joining me for another episode of Total Ramblings. In my totally not boring life, I thought maybe we'd change our calendars together because it's January the 1st. Now, obviously, Liz isn't home, but we do tend to go a little bit overboard with the purchasing of calendars every year. And we have a tradition. We have Mickey Bubble. He always goes in the bedroom. We've got Robbie. Now, he is an unofficial one, but they don't do an official one these days. Robbie goes in the kitchen. We have Tuxedo Cats. That goes in the kitchen. And we have Lego. Lego goes in the downstairs bathroom. And we have Doctor Who. We always have at least one Doctor Who. Sometimes we have two. Because there was an offer on. And I can never be certain which Doctor Who ones to buy. So, what this means is I think we might have to find a new place for the Lego one this year. But, first of all, we have to take down the ones from last year. Now, this is a little bit sad for me because Liz and I bought these calendars for 2024 and she never got to see a single one because she spent the whole year in hospital. So this is the Tuxedo Cats one. I have two Tuxedo Cats, as you know. Whisper, who is going to be 9 this year, and Tiberius, who will be 4 this year. Didn't deliberately set out to get Tuxedo Cats. That's just the way it ended up. Any cats are nice, but my cats are particularly nice. So, that's the 2024 calendar for Tuxedo Cats. The Robbie one lives in the kitchen. So this is last year's Robbie one. Now, Robbie used to do his own official calendar, but for some reason, they always used to come out like really late compared to the others. And now he doesn't do one, so we're left to one by The Mirror, which is an independent publication. So, but Mrs. S likes Robbie, and like I say, she never got to see any of these, which is sad. Now, come with me. And we will go into the downstairs bathroom where this is last year's Doctor Who one. And, excuse me, while I just take that off the wall. And last year's Lego one. So let's have a quick look at those while we're here. Oh, hello, Ty. Ty is exploring the downstairs bathroom. He doesn't get to go in there very often because the door's normally shut. Right, this is last year's Lego one. Some space, Lego there. Can't say I ever looked at this page before. I vaguely remember that. I don't really remember it much at all, if I'm honest with you. Yeah, that one rings a bell. Bunny Rabbit for March. More Spacemen. Classic Space. Definitely remember that one. Doesn't seem like 7 months ago though. Vaguely remember that one. Yeah, I liked that one. Yeah, August holidays. Yeah, the bees. The aliens looking for directions. More classic space and the Huskies. was last year's Lego one. And then this is last year's Doctor Who one. Pretty certain they had more than one Doctor Who one last year as well. Of course, the perfect Doctor Who calendar was when we only had 12 Doctors, because you could have one every, you know, one for each, one for January, two for February, etc., etc. Now it's all a bit sort of messed up, and it's all kind of, we've got too many Doctors. We haven't, but you know what I mean. So, I mean, we've got 2 Doctors here, including the War Doctor. There we go. And I won't take you upstairs. I'll go and get the Mickey Bubble, and we'll have a quick look at that one as well before we put the new ones out. Right, here's the Michael Bublé 2024 one, or Mickey Bubble, as we call him. I'm sure we're not the only people to call him Mickey Bubble, but this one lives in the bedroom. Sometimes we get calendars for the kids as well, so sometimes we'll get a Pokemon one for Anthony, or maybe a Moomin one for Alice, but Anthony doesn't really care about what's on his walls, and Alice doesn't always change hers on time, so there you go. I'm going to open up these 2025 ones now, and we're going to have a look at them once they're on the wall, and I'm not going to give you a preview of all the months. Right, here's Mickey Bubble in place. I think this is better than last year's, because last year's one was kind of cropped with these accents and logos and things. So let's face it, nobody actually bloody uses these for the dates anyway. So yeah, there's Mickey Bubble for the year. Let's quickly go downstairs and I'll show you the next 2 that I've already put up. Doobie doobie doo. Doo doobie 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 doo. There's Ty. Doo doobie 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 doobie. There's Robbie. Here's Robbie for 2025. Yeah, I'm not a big tattoo person. He's ruined himself with all these tattoos. Anyway, there's Robbie, and over here, our January tuxedo cat. I wonder where that is. It looks a little bit Norwegian to me, that landscape. I could be wrong. Could be Scottish Highlands. Could be Canada. Who knows? All I know is that it's copyright 2024 Getty Images, which tells me nothing. Anyway, let's put the others up. Right, here are the new Doctor Who ones. So my friend Siobhan and Steve Noonan would absolutely lambast me for this, but I'm afraid William Hartnell is my least favourite Doctor. It doesn't mean I don't like him, it's just that he's my least favourite. He's still got some good stories, but I would much rather watch anything else over a Hartnell story. And I'm being perfectly honest. I know that's a very bad thing to say. Patrick Troughton, however, is my favourite Doctor. So it's not a black and white thing. It's just, I find some of these stories a bit slow. I find the Doctor a bit difficult to tune into sometimes. He's quite arrogant. And I don't really like historical stories. But anyway. And there's Ncuti Gatwa, the 15th Doctor. So that's our Doctor Who wall. Now, interestingly, both these calendars are made by Danilo. And this one, this one came in... No, it was this one. Yes, sorry. This one came in a sleeve, like an envelope, and this one didn't. It was wrapped in plastic. So, yeah, that's quite a nice picture, that, isn't it? Look at that. Right, I've figured that since I've got an office now, a proper one, I suppose I thought it would be a good idea to have the Lego one in here. So there we go. We can get a proper look at the month. This one, January, just seems to be an advertisement for the collectible minifigures, including Mr. Gold, who I never got. And that, I think, is what ruined a lot of people's collections of these collectible minifigs, because he was so super rare, you couldn't get him. Therefore, most people could never have a full collection. And Lego never did that again. It's like these San Diego Comic-Con exclusive Lego sets. It just annoys the hell out of me that there's things you can't get retail. Anyway, I need to decide what I'm going to do with these old calendars. I think I'm probably just going to bin them. Don't really have room to keep them. Back in the day, oh, look at that. That's interesting. So, look at that. That's the cover for... Oh no, it's slightly different. I just saw that Troughton was the same. Look, so he's the same here, and he's the same here. So the Doctors up to a certain point are the same, and then they've swapped them around. But basically, that's the image for the 60 years with the 14th Doctor, and they've basically reused the same image but put Ncuti at the front and reorganised some of the ones at the front, but the ones at the back are largely the same. So this one's are the same up to Joe Martin. This one's the same up to Tom Baker. And then we've got Matt Smith's the same. Paul McGann's the same. Jodie has got a different pose and has been swapped places. And Hartnell is the same pose but has swapped places. So yeah, they've just reused it. That's fine. Nothing wrong with that. Anyway, right, in the 80s, back in the 80s when we first had Doctor Who calendars, and they were, I seem to remember there wasn't always a Doctor Who calendar, and but if there was, they were generally Andrew Skilleter illustrations. And so I remember like 1986 there was one, for example. I've still got that. I kept it because back in the day, being the teenage nerdy Doctor Who fan that I was, I'd keep everything. I would keep literally everything that had a Doctor Who logo on it. And I remember, and this was before I had a computer, so therefore before any ability to do this on a spreadsheet for me or anything like that, I had a book. I had like an exercise book from school. There's a story. They put me in charge of the stationery cupboard at school. That was a mistake. I used to just rip off exercise books and reuse them for my own purposes. Anyway, having just confessed to a crime, the point I'm making is that I had an exercise book, and I had every single piece of Doctor Who merchandise catalogued in that exercise book, along with its price. And I was able to tell you to the penny how much my Doctor Who collection had cost me. Yeah. This is back when I was, I don't know, 13, 14, 15, something like that. So, yeah. I was really proud of that book. But, yeah, nowadays, of course, I do it on a spreadsheet on a computer, but I've got far, far, far too much to catalogue. And I'll be honest with you, I'm not terribly inclined to do so. For the most part, I know what I've got. If I see something online or on a YouTube video, for example, I'll know straight away that I've got it. There is one exception, and that is that I ended up buying 2 copies of a book called, I think it was The Whoniverse. I remember seeing it in a shop and thinking, oh, that looks good, and bought it, and didn't realise I'd already got it. But I would argue that it does at least show consistency on my part, right? Because it means that I wanted the same book twice over. Yeah, that's my... So, you know, basically, it was obviously a book that I really wanted, right? Unfortunately, this Lego bonsai tree has decided to come apart whilst I was sorting out my calendars in a desperate attempt to distract me from the task at hand. And I find that things, generally, there's a lot of this about where apparently what I'm doing is maybe some kind of danger to the fabric of the universe, and that I have to be distracted from what I'm currently doing. And therefore things break and things fall apart and things stop working and things start chiming with alarms or what have you. Basically anything to stop me from doing what I'm currently doing. Anyway, I wasn't having it this time because I was sorting out my calendars. And that's done now. So now we can get back to the job at hand. There's also this phenomenon I've observed called a chain reaction disaster. And it can end ultimately in bodily injury. Basically, something will break, something will go wrong, and you'll spend time kind of trying to fix it. And then in the course of fixing it, something else will then break. And in the course of fixing that, something else will then break. And it basically escalates massively. This has happened to me on several occasions, a chain reaction disaster. And basically all the while, you're getting distracted further and further and further away from the task that you were originally planning on doing. To the extent that you just spend the rest of your day fixing the problems that have been caused by you fixing problem A, which caused problem B, which then meant you had to fix problem B, which then caused problem C, which meant you then had to fix problem C, which then, etc., etc. And I've become quite adept at identifying when a chain reaction disaster is in progress and actually stopping it dead, because I won't have it anymore, because I am not the universe's plaything. I don't know what 2024 thought I was, but 2024 apparently, for some reason, if it was an entity, apparently it hated me so much that basically, number one, everything had to happen all. It was like an extended chain reaction disaster. Basically, everything had to happen all at once. I wasn't allowed to cope with one problem at a time. I had to deal with multiple issues simultaneously. And in fact, in many instances, of course, those issues were in fact completely contradictory in how they had to be dealt with. Or they would require me to literally be in two places at the same time. And that's how 2024 went. And for 2025, I'm not having it. So Bonsai Tree, you're fixed. And I would say, fuck you, you're fixed. You didn't manage to distract me from what I was doing. I've managed to do what I was doing and you are now fixed. And that's how 2025 is going to go on, everybody. I know I sound like a lunatic, and I probably am one, but I don't really care at the moment because that's just the way it's going to go. Don't really have a New Year's resolution other than just to keep surviving, really. Thanks for joining me for the annual changing of the calendars. I hope it's been of some vague interest to you in my totally not boring life. Thank you very much for subscribing. Do the watching, liking, commenting, subscribing, bell button, all the usual YouTube-y stuff. Please do that. And I will see you in the next episode. Bye.